Seashells by the seashore. Hey there every, Mints here with another installment of the Dreamland Java Project video series. Now it's been a while since I've done one of these, so I want to skip this introduction and get right to it. In case you didn't know, you can skip these intros by clicking anywhere on the screen. This innie is as good as any other innie, so I'll click right here. So this is Bogg and Gooey in Save the Day. You can play as one of two protagonists, either Squeaky Bogg, who represents the hard mode because he cannot fly, or you can play as Gooey, who represents an easy mode because he can fly. In today's video, I will be playing as Gooey. This installment of the Kirbj series expands on the previous one, Gooey against Moogong, by introducing more than just mini-boss battles. There are full sceneries to explore, there's this little flower right here, there are new backgrounds, and of course there are regular enemies. Here we see Tuki. Tuki first appeared in Dreamland 1's Extra mode. We have some more Tukis. You can eat and you can exhale, you can swallow them to get copy abilities. It helps if the enemy actually has an ability to give. Thus enter Galbo. Galbo co-starred in Dreamland 3 alongside of Gooey. With the burning ability that Galbo gives him, he can turn into a blue fireball. We can use that blue fireball against Gordo right here, but Gordos are of course invincible. They've been around since Dreamland 1, they are a mainstay, and they can be defeated by having them just drift off the scene. Next up we have Whizzer. Whizzer also appeared in Dreamland 1. You may have seen it very quickly there, but that Tuki dropped a Tuki leg when it was defeated. Now, those other Tukis I killed at the beginning of the stage, they had a chance of dropping a Tuki leg as well. And you saw it again right there. Unfortunately, this burning ability does not give it a whole lot of time to be visible. Whenever a Tuki is defeated, they have a chance of dropping a Tuki leg. Ah, there we go. However, if I use the burning ability, the chance of it happening increases very greatly. Ow. Get my burning ability back, just like in the Dreamland games. If you get hit, you lose your ability. So now these Tukis are being a little bit stubborn. No other enemy, as of yet, in Kirbj has the chance of dropping an item. In some of the newer games, pretty much every enemy can drop an item at any time when they're defeated. I thought making it a little more puzzling and would be better, especially since this is an old school game with a 6-point life bar. That life bar is not actually a hard and fast rule. It's more of a suggestion. It combines both Superstar's method of having a continuous life bar, but that continuous life bar is divided into 6 large chunks, which pretty much all damage does. There can be enemies that do less, I just don't have any right now. Having fewer hits till death, I think, works out a little bit better. Before I get down to that wizard there, I'd like to show you something. I can use my tongue still. If you look in the bottom corner, you can see that Gooey does have burning, and I in fact do have burning. The way I used my tongue is by hitting any of the keys above the spacebar, which most people hit for games online. I can also hit Z to use burning if I don't want to use the spacebar, but anything else in that row beneath home row will make Gooey use his tongue. I added this as a way for the protagonist in Kirbj to use their basic ability. For example, someone like Waddle Doo's basic ability would be the beam. For Kirby, it would be inhale. It's just an easier way to use more of your arsenal. A lot of characters won't be limited to just a copy ability, and so having something like that allows them to have more to use without the superstar button combinations, although those actually do exist in Kirbj as well. And if you look back to the lower left-hand corner, you can see that I can cycle through all the abilities I currently have, which at the moment is just 2. by hitting either Shift or Control. Whatever ability is showing there will be the ability that Gooey uses whenever he hits Z or space. So if I shift back to burning, now the spacebar makes me use a fireball again. Now something else is this whizzer right here can be eaten, and you'll notice I no longer have burning, but rather beam. Cycle through, you can see that Gooey can only have one copy ability at a time. Now, beam is a very special case. Burning is an ability that Gooey was able to get in Dreamland 3. I wanted to limit Gooey to abilities that he was only seen with in Dreamland 3. I made an exception for beam though, and the reason for that... Ooh, I actually wanted that burning ability to get that guy to respawn. Anyway, the reason that Gooey can get beam is that I view beam as a dark matter ability. The enemy most associated with beam is, of course, Waddle Doo, one of my favorites, by the way. In Crystal Shards, Waddle Doo was shown to be a Waddle Dee infected with dark matter. This is the only time a Waddle Doo has ever appeared in any of the dark matter games. I really wanted that. Come back here, burning. So, since Waddle Doo is a dark matter enemy, and Gooey is made of dark matter, I consider the two to be cousins. In Avalanche, you may also recall that Waddle Doo is the cousin of Waddle Dee. And because of this relationship between the two, I figured that Gooey should be able to get the dark matter ability of beam. Now you'll notice in this little straight up here, it's possible to get up with beam as well. It's a lot easier to use this rebounding of fireball. This entire stage that I'm in right now can be cleared by using either beam or with burning. You can't get through it with just the tongue alone. That's not going to happen. There are too many parts where you'll get stuck. And if this entire room, as you may have been able to tell by now, is in fact just a giant maze of star blocks. People were very divided on this. Some people hated it a lot. Other people thought it was fun. I guess it's just a matter of opinion. I, for one, really liked it. The reason that I implemented it is not just because this game didn't have that much of a rogues gallery. There are only 4 or 5 enemy types in it. The reason I implemented this stage like this is because when developing Kirbj, I had a very large field of star blocks that I would use new abilities in, particularly backdrop and throw abilities. I thought it was kind of fun just massacring a large field of star blocks, and so I wanted to recreate that feeling. This room is a lot more fun if you're using Squeaky Bogg. Here we see some more Tukey legs. I want to try to kill as many Tukeys as I can with burning to refill my life. If I respawn these Tukeys and kill them again, they're not going to drop a Tukey leg if they already have dropped one, so don't think you can get infinite life by doing so. This entire room that I'm in right now has no bottom to it, so Squeaky Bogg, who uses the backdrop ability, has a much more difficult time getting through this particular stage. Someone like a Gooey can just fly, so he doesn't have to worry about falling to his doom. Backdrop, just using it here pretty much guarantees that you're going to die. Here we see Mr. P. Umpkin. Mr. P. Umpkin is another enemy from the extra mode of Dreamland 1. The reason Mr. P. Umpkin is here is the same reason that Tukey was used, and that is Thanksgiving. Save the Day was originally Save T-Day. It was supposed to be released on Thanksgiving, and it, in fact, missed that mark by quite a bit. I then changed it for another holiday, Christmas, and missed that mark as well. I eventually settled on St. Patrick's Day as a release date for it, and for this reason you can see themes from all of those holidays. Another fun fact is that Save the Day was originally entitled Gooey and Bogg Save the Day. It was supposed to have a Waddle Doo as a playable character, but he was dropped for time constraints. Waddle Doo is actually supposed to be the first character in Kirbj. He actually was in the unreleased version. He has graphics made, but they are much larger than the graphics I ended up using, and for that reason, he has yet to appear. That's one of the reasons that things like Beam and Capture Beam are already programmed in Kirbj. Now, I just defeated Mugong, you may remember him from the previous installment, and now Gooey actually has an opportunity to use the ice ability. Last time there weren't really any things to do with ice, so this time you get to actually freeze some enemies. Oh no, I'm not going to lose you now. And this room was done entirely out of pity, just for the ice ability, because the game's over right now. If I go through that door, it's going to start the end sequence. I don't want to spoil anything for you, so I'm just going to cut this video out right now. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you'll actually try playing the game at realityzen.com or some other sites maybe for a little bit longer at least, and I will see you next time.